February 17th. I'm about to go for a walk. Where can I put this? Clip it there. Clip it there. Right, good, jolly good. I'm gonna need to bring this bag to bring back the stuff. I'm doing some shopping as well. Doing some shopping as well. That's good, that's all good. I always do some shopping. Look at that.
Down your head.
No.
You're going to be like too cold, curly for the rain.
I'm going to be wearing a hat.
You're going to wear a hat.
Yeah.
So clean, so soft, so clean and so soft. He knows. He knows. He knows you're all beautiful. Huh? All really nice shampoo. Huh? Oh.
I'll bring my phone as well in case you need remember something.
And the Connemara keys, you can for coffee?
Yes, of course. And I'll keep the keys for here as well, I guess, yeah?
You keep them for
I mean, I'll take the keys for here as well.
No.
You'll be here?
Yeah.
You sure, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a big moment. Huh? That was a big moment.
He knows I'm going out.
Yeah.
Not you, little one.
When you leave back, you tell me I made you a new baptism.
All right, yeah, when I said.
Not now. You can go down in the garden.
Yeah, you can go to your garden. I'm going to bring that box to the bin. Have to remember to take my slippers off.
Yeah.
Almost downloaded here. What are we doing now? Process 84%. 84%. Should I wait? Or should I just go? I want to download it because I want to play it when I want to play it on my phone. Yeah, I'll play it on my phone. Yeah. My selection is certainly eclectic. I'm going from Jesus told me about the rapture, to bipolar, to Danzero, the best budget MP3 player, to digital voice recorder. To digital voice recorder. Storm Dennis. The Storm Dennis. the news of the day. What about stupid? What about stupid videos of the day? Life's hacks are only getting worse. That's 2 years ago. Absolute Reality. I like the name of that. I like the name of Actual Reality. Where did I go? Ooh, I got two. What's he saying? Opinion day. Yes, I deleted the original comment because my reply to a comment was removed by YouTube censors. What's this one? So it would not be necessary to just need to find a ruling. Huh? Oh God. Is it a court? Learn about evidence, speculation. If there was proof beyond reasonable doubt, there would not be a jury. The judge would make the final ruling. Testimonies, and sometimes testimonies aren't always eyewitnesses. Also compelling, in response to your comment, with 500 people in one single gathering, mass hallucination is not possible. These recordings are cited outside of the Bible as well. To believe despite compelling evidence, even if you could prove the resurrection or reasonable doubt. Some would still disbelieve if you saw an actual video of Jesus being resurrected. Could still argue. Right, if you could disbelieve it, say must have been fully dead. I shall refer you back to my original comment. I shall refer you back to my original. I shall refer you back to my original comment. What was the other one? Yes, I deleted the original comment because my reply to a comment was removed by YouTube censors, leaving only the reply to the original post. I expect fairness. There isn't any reason someone should write something and not allow a response. Okay. I thought THLUGH. I thought maybe you were drunk. You were drunk. Okay. Oh, okay. I thought maybe you were drunk. Some kind of nasty comments I'm writing back. I'm going to torment people with those comments. I'm going to torment them. So what's the story here now? There's 0% processed. This takes so fucking long here. I don't know. It's 3 o'clock. 138. his name? Was it that guy himself? No, it wasn't.
No. I married a great woman. We've been married this past...
You need to visit a courtroom, learn about evidence and speculation. Everything you said was speculation, and stories from people that prove nothing. If there were proof beyond reasonable doubt, there would not be a jury, as it would not be necessary. Court cases usually doesn't mean sometimes testimonies aren't always eyewitnesses. I shall refer you back to my original comment. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Hey, there it is. Now, my digital thing. And I had a nice thumbnail here. Nice thumbnail already for it. Look at that. Digital recorder, 6 minutes. Beautiful. Beautiful. Videos are getting more. My videos are getting more polished. Okay. So, a chance to let my hair dry as well. Don't want this box now. So, do you think I'm going to need my sunglasses?
Obviously not.
Do you think the sun's going to come out at some point?
I think so.
You never know.
You never know. Très bien.
Tuco, go back to bed. Look at him. Aww. Right. I need to check the mail. So I'm going to bring these anyway. Okay, so I'll see you I'll call you when I'm coming back if you want to bring him to stretch his legs. Yeah.
Go to stretch his legs. Do you want to see where they're going then? No, I think no.
You stay there. Bye. And I'm off with this wonderful mic. Nice piece of technology. It seemed that I got plenty of sleep last night. I was lying in bed at midday, but feeling guilty. I don't seem to be able to stay in bed without feeling guilty, but I think the problem with staying in bed anyway is that the longer you stay in bed, actually, there's a danger the more depressed you'll get, you know. So you might not be doing yourself any good. Fuck. I still haven't received that Japanese mic. Maybe that's really something to do with that coronavirus. Don't know, but I ordered it ages ago. Anyway, I'm not desperately waiting on that, to be honest. I've got three other microphones. There's always a nice little sense of self-satisfaction when I upload a video, even like that little one about the voice recorder. Feels good as well because I'm kind of using so much stuff in a sense. I'm using the Sony camera to get some nice clear video. And then I was able to use the files themselves from the digital recorder. And then I get a nice thumbnail, and I like the brown of the table. It's just it's aesthetic. An aesthetic little package. It'd be nice for someone to click on it at some point and see, here's a guy who's just got 62 subscribers and he's got like 5 views. But they click on it and they're kind of into that kind of stuff, so they watch it and they think well, for someone with such a small channel, it's not a bad little production. He's put some effort into it. It's good sound, it's clear. It's kind of reasonably precise. It's not kind of meandering. It's not a 35-minute video. That should be far shorter. Anyway, stuff and nonsense. I'm going for a walk on this Monday, as I normally do. Flo, as you've probably already heard, is at home studying the endless study of yoga. I don't know if she's studying her own personal stuff from her course or if she's preparing something to teach. Kind of interesting moment yesterday. She's taking these pieces of wood she finds in the river, and she puts a lot of time into cleaning them up and varnishing them and putting products on them. And they do look nice. And I made the mistake of saying, it's kind of a waste of time. Shouldn't really have said that. It's not my place to say. It's just I could see these things being done and polished and then ending up just being left somewhere. But at the end of the day, like Flo said, it's the same as what I'm doing is also a waste of time. You know, putting videos up. Some videos have been up on that channel for years and years, and you know, no one's going to look at them. Perhaps I can glance back at them every now and again, and it's kind of nostalgic. It's like some digital journal or something. Hey, digital journal, I like that. It just got me thinking about what is not a waste of time. I think I said to Flo, yeah, everything is a waste of time to some extent. And she wouldn't really agree with that. But she was right that she's got her own creative process. And whatever shape it is, it's, you know. Because last night I was showing her my video of the digital recorder, and she said, for her looking at that and the work I'd done in it, gave her the same sense that I probably got from watching her with the bits of wood she was working on. Bits of wood she worked on, yeah. I guess it's for the individual themselves to. I feel quite happy with doing these things. And I'm always trying to do different things with the video. And I'm kind of learning bits and pieces. Maybe not that much, but I'm learning a little bit about some of the new technologies and how to make things work together. The cameras and the audio devices and a simple way of transferring stuff from an SD card to a phone or to a laptop. They're kind of, I don't know if they're terribly useful skills. They're certainly good for me. They give me more things to work with. It's an interesting question, though. What is not a waste of time? All these walk and talks that I do, and I've got quite a few of them on this phone I'm using here, the Lenny. I don't know, it could be anything up to 10 hours of talking. mostly just pointless rambling. I mean, even as much as I like uploading things, I probably wouldn't be uploading any of these particular audio files, because there may be points, there may be moments every now and again when I could say something that might be of use or of interest. But in general, it wouldn't be. I guess the technology is there to record like this. And, you could almost record yourself the whole day, it's getting to the point where you could do that. And there's the idea that, well, looking back in 20 years, it might be nostalgic. Maybe in the future you won't be working in Connemara anymore. I mean, if you live long enough, let's face it, that's going to happen. In order for that to work, though, you've got to put the stuff away and really not look at it. And because of the nature of files and laptops and things, I have a tendency to surf through all the old files from the last decade, because you can just go through them so quickly. You click on a few boxes and all of a sudden you're into 2012 and you're listening to some stuff, or you're just very quickly going through some photographs. And in the space of a couple of hours you can go through years and years of stuff. Not all of it, but bits of it. And of course, when you do that, if you do it often enough, you get so used to the stuff that there is no nostalgic factor involved anymore, because it never seems old. It's like, oh, I remember this. I'm very familiar with this. When is it from? It's nearly a decade ago, but I've listened to it so much over the years that I know it very well. Nostalgia can only really work if something is really left alone for a few years. And when you come back to it, you really don't have any recollection what you're listening to. You have to pick up the hints and tips, and you really have to remember back to, that was such and such. But because everything can be stored so tidily on a storage disk now, and it's so easy to just kind of casually pick out bits from all the years, it never gets the chance to be surprising. Lately I've been recording so much audio, though, that it won't really be, there's just no way of listening to all this. Each one of these things I do is over an hour long. I just had a wonderful thought. If I ever got to the point of, let's say for some good reason, I became famous. Let's say famous as not infamous, as opposed to infamous, just famous. And for some reason, people just really, they wanted anything with my identity on it. Like if David Bowie had lots of video or audio, it would be definitely in demand. It would be like, can you imagine, Bowie was out walking a few years ago and he recorded all his thoughts. Would you like to hear that? But let's say for me there was some demand on what I'm doing, somehow, just for fantasy's sake. And someone said to me, you know, your channel is doing really well, but the only thing you really need is you need to upload something every day. That's the important thing. There's no way you could do that, is there? And I could say, yeah, I think so. I've got a back catalogue of a few things. It'd be so cool to be able to upload and have a demand for it. Somebody going, I can't wait till tomorrow when he uploads some more audio. And I'm like, yeah, I've got like hours and hours of it to upload. I like the notion of some higher power and some intrinsic system with a sense of balance and serenity and equilibrium and also inspiration and joy at its heart. And I'd like to trust in that and see the way things work out. So I trust in what I'm doing. I like what I'm doing. There is a great sense of self-therapy to everything. Like I've been saying lately, it's interesting to listen to yourself. I find it interesting. It's not so much that I'm saying stuff that's interesting. It's the fact, sometimes it's the fact that it's so uninteresting. That's interesting. It's an apparent contradiction. But I can gain, I was saying yesterday, I can gain a little bit of objectivity with this person, I call myself, when I hear him talking or when I watch, if I have a camera set up and I just kind of watch myself in just a very normal environment. Ideally at the point where I forget I'm being recorded and I just am myself. There's a certain therapy in it, in being able to kind of just see something I don't know what it is exactly, I can't explain it. We're in the age of opinions with the whole internet. Everybody wants to make a point and be applauded. Everybody wants to make a point and have lots of likes after it, and so comments that agree. And what is that? Does it boil down? Is that just the ego? Is it this notion Eric Tolle? Is that his name? Eckhart Tolle, not Eric, Eckhart. He had this notion that we were all trying to defend our existence and our being somehow, that's kind of the unconscious part of it. That's what all the pushing your opinion and wanting people to agree with you is all about. I don't know what the answer is. Having big discussions on whether, I don't know, whether the Bible has any truth in it or whether we go to heaven and, you know, what happens after death, let's say. This is a more clear-cut way of saying this. Having big discussions on what happens after death is really for me anyway, when I think about it, it's a waste of time. It's not something our faculty can grapple with at all. But like having a big discussion on some planet that was billions of miles away, and besides arguing with one another about what was on the planet, even though we'd never been there, we'd never seen it except a tiny speck of light. But can you imagine if someone was wasting their time arguing about what they, not what they thought was on it, but what they knew was on it? And I'd be saying, but you can't know what's on that planet. No one's ever been, remotely within a million miles of the thing. How can you say you know what's on it? To me, that's the same analogy with a lot of the religious stuff. Because people don't give an opinion. They say, this is the fact. The evidence is all there. It's like, no, it's not. But getting back to what I was saying, these things are a waste of time to discuss, especially a waste of time when you get annoyed by them, which I do sometimes. I'm turning up the street where the horses are. And behind me there's lots of work going on little houses being built there. Little houses, all right on top of one another. I don't know if the person who lives in one of those houses, the person that's been there for years and years, don't know whether maybe it's something to do with his land and he knows the people, but if not, it'd really be depressing to have someone build two houses literally 3 feet away from your window. It's a pretty still day, but it's very grey. It's not raining. It was drizzling earlier, but it's not now. There's always lots of birds over there. I think maybe they feed on some of the chicken feed, because I think that's what would you call it? An egg-laying factory, I don't know. I'm going across into the little housing estate. I'm going to have to cross the metal bridge. No point in going over the bridge. I just turn right and I join up with the main road here. as I was putting together that video last night, I was doing the editing, which more often than not is simply cutting away. It's kind of like clipping a hedge. It's cutting away all the stuff you don't need. And the aim is to try and make the video as short as you can, really. You know, there is a sense of achievement when you take recordings that were originally 12, 15 minutes and you bring them back down to 6. I was doing that last night, and I realized that I was really enjoying the process, just being there in that film editing thing. It's got a lead. There's that man talking back there. He's walking 2 children. And one of them looks to be about 10 and the other's about maybe 6. But it looks like he's got 2 leads on them, like he were walking 2 dogs. I had to look twice. Yeah. I don't know, maybe there's something that's weird. Bonjour.
Il est très gentil. Oui, comme ça.
Maybe it's some kind of game they're playing, I don't know. You know, maybe they're bringing back something to use as some kind of offense or something. Can't believe you'd be walking with 2 reasonably grown-up children as if they're 2 dogs. Weird. Oh, I lost my train of thought. I got distracted by that guy with the kid with the noisy game thing, Game Boy. I was talking about something and I can't remember. It's on the tape. It's recorded, but I can't remember what it is now. Let me see. I passed the house with the wonderful solid-looking fence. Then I heard lots of birds. I can't remember. Damn. Well, maybe when we play this back at some point, I'll find out. Joe? Oh, I don't like forgetting what I was talking about. It's annoying. It's like I was trying to make a point to myself. Was it something to do with memory's completely gone, whatever I was on about. I'll have to get over that. The inevitable dog in the background. Not really any blue skies today, but I can sense things are lifting because the grey is getting very bright in patches. And the visibility is good and I don't see any rain. Lots of files. There's something disturbing as well about Buongiorno. Something disturbing about the notion that what you're doing could be seen as a waste of time. I think the longer one lives, you can gain a deeper insight into things. And to use that old kind of yoga phrase, you can see through the veil of Maya, whatever. Sometimes it's kind of disturbing to gain that deeper insight. It can take a while to assimilate it. And it's kind of letting go of certain ideas that you've always had. It's a bit like a kid letting go of certain innocence that they've had. So for me right now, it's this notion of, is there anything that we do that could really be seen for the vast majority of people as important? Buongiorno. I know there are important jobs for some people. I'm talking about the vast majority, though. I know there are guys right now doing wonderful engineering feats. There's people bringing food in to help starving people. There's doctors saving people all around the world. There's wonderful things happening. There's maybe some teachers now inspiring some 14, 15-year-olds, which these 15-year-olds will never forget. And thanks to the teachers, they may have an increased faculty to appreciate things. But I still can't get away from the fact that for the vast majority, and even looked upon in a bigger, higher picture. And most of the things we do as human beings is utterly pointless. if we didn't do what we were doing, this goes for the vast majority of people, it wouldn't really make much difference. You know, the man driving the bus with all the tourists, it's important. If he didn't do it, they'd just get somebody else to do it. I think it goes back a bit to the Nietzschean thing of the most noble thing and one of the best projects to work on is yourself. Try and create more and benefit from it so that you're continually doing something for yourself. Sure. At least for an introvert, that would seem a good project, you know. I worked on this and this and this, and now I enjoy this more. And this has opened up to me. It's another interest because of this. I worked on myself, so now that doesn't bother me anymore. I've learned to be able to be distant in these conversations. I don't get sucked in to discussions on YouTube. I'm able to kind of keep well back from it all. I've learned to be more and more a spectator, but a spectator that draws enjoyment and content and can give a bit to what he's watching. Yeah. John? So at least you can say, well, what I'm doing mightn't be of much use to most anybody else, but I'm kind of happily drifting through the days. I'm up far more than I'm down. I got a nice routine, I sleep well. I look forward to the simple things, you know, if you've got to this point. And I'm also, this is most important, I think I'm also on the lookout for magic. I'm also very curious to finding new ideas that can cast a new light onto my consciousness and my existence and make me see things in a different way and exalt my experiences and my being. I'm always looking for that. I'm never just sitting on my laurels. I don't want to get to the point where I'm like, well, that's it. It's never going to be any different than this. I want to always be developing myself somehow. Maybe the doings are not so important. It's the development of the consciousness, the psyche, the feelings, the ability to appreciate things, the ability to be thankful for small things, small blessings. Buongiorno. Yeah. Buongiorno. Hey. All the crazies are working on the lawn. Hey, come on, that's not funny. Bonjour. There's a bus coming this way. Is that a bus full of people for the what the fuck do you call it? Pearl Almond. It's a Pearl Almond. Wow, it's an empty bus. Looks like they're going to do some big work here in the hospital. Maybe that bus is to pick up some of the patients here, bring them on a day trip. Well, a bit late for a day trip. Here's my man. Speaking of the hospital, the people with learning difficulties, or whatever. It's the guy that sometimes is on a bike. Always got the cigarette in the corner of his mouth. Yeah. Joe? Always has a cigarette in his mouth. So that guy must chain smoke. Maybe he's not allowed to smoke inside the building. So whenever he gets out, he makes up for kind of lost smokes. I find him, he's interesting. I always and all those people, because I always say to myself, they must, that sounds so stupid. I always say to myself, I sometimes wonder what view they have on themselves. I'm sure some of them must be aware that they're different. But in general, the strange thing about humans is we all think we're geniuses. We all think we got it all figured out. You know, unless you're incredibly clever and incredibly aware and intelligent and full of wisdom, they're the people who realize you got nothing figured out. But it's this person from that hospital may well go through life thinking they're mentally the same as everybody else, and I mean, who am I to say they're not? It might be that some of those functionings in some of those people are actually better in some way. The same goes for me. I look at people in certain vlogs and I look at I'm Apollo. And it's not that I don't ridicule anyone, especially the younger people. Sometimes I can see older people. But I can't help have the kind of ego massaging feeling of, wow, I am just more developed in every which way than that person, you know. For want of some better, maybe more colorful phrases or adjectives, they're dumb. course, then I think there's bound to be somebody out there who's looked at some videos of mine and I think the same. Of course, I could fool myself into thinking, well, perhaps there is some plateau there of awareness. And when you get to it, you are kind of equal with most people. There's no going further up or down. I don't know if that makes sense. I guess there are great levels of awareness, just like everything else. What does it boil down to, though? The only person that's truly wise, or that's truly, I use the word intelligent in a nice sense, is, for me anyway, it will be the person that can go through days feeling incredibly empowered. Occupied. The person that jumps out of bed in the morning like a kid on Christmas morning. The guy or the girl who just can't wait to get to do what they're doing, and they are having wonderful, almost supernatural experiences during the day. Almost like someone that's just naturally joking. Someone that's kind of naturally in a state of almost intoxication with life. Yeah. That's actually a good way of putting it. Someone that's in a state of intoxication with life, without, hasten to add, without the need for any foreign substances. Someone like that, who's kind of read a lot of stuff, who's picked the brains of all of the most spiritual, intelligent people that you could find down through the millennia. That'd be the person I would take my hat off. The person I would like to be a student of. Because that to me is anything that counts. It's not he's the most intelligent because he's amassed. He's amassed a fortune. Amassing a fortune, that doesn't count for shit if you're miserable. Amassing a fortune doesn't count for shit if every day is just a struggle to hang on to it, and you're just so busy all the time, or you're depressed, or you're getting bitter because the thing that you wanted the most and that you thought would cure all your ills hasn't really cured all your ills at all. Some money on its own, power on its own, position. To me, they are no relationship to a truly wise person. So you're going through your life in a state of intoxication with existence. And I don't mean mentally deranged or anything. I mean being absolutely perfectly in sync. Having
Sì, si compie.
A supernatural relaxation. A supernatural interest in things. That would be certainly raised, very raised consciousness. A new being. Yeah. I guess for me to be anywhere near that state, I'd have to genuinely not care about my wishes on my YouTube channel. I'd have to genuinely be much more courageous, find courage. Courage would just have to descend on me. But in terms of not really looking for anything, money or power, I could say I think that I'm probably doing some things right. You know? Trying to enjoy the simple things. Not trying to have any great ambitions, but trying to be as appreciative as possible for the day, for everything that's in it. I'm gonna get some guess I could do with some cream as well. What is it called? Tolerance. I don't see that. Ah. Voila. 20 quid.
Oui, voilà, moi je l'envoie comme si j'envoyais une facture à moi, donc ça va être
Could I walk out with this in my pocket?
non, voilà, il rembourse sur la date de générale. Donc là, 70 euros.
Ah, pardon.
Non, là il y a 40.
Cameras all over the place.
Voilà. Non, non, là c'est bon. 70, 110, là c'est bon. Voilà, merci. Passez une bonne journée. Au revoir. Bonjour.
Buongiorno. Ma è deux boîtes Everalgal, oui.
Comme ça ou comme ça? Effervescent?
Eh oui, effervescent.
Deux boîtes.
Deux boîtes.
À toutes les 6 heures. Hein?
Oui.
Et ça fait 24,50 s'il vous plaît. Merci. Vous voulez un sac? Bag?
Oui,
Oui.
merci.
Voilà. Merci. Merci.
Merci. Au revoir.
Bonne journée. Au revoir.
Ooh, I like this man's hat. Yeah, let me. Before I forget, just mention that episode with the pharmacy. That's kind of a, I guess, a bit of an example of when you let things happen. I didn't set out at all to get anything in the pharmacy. But I do kind of need these things, but I didn't set out to do it. And I didn't think about them, you know. But it was there somewhere, and when I glanced at the pharmacy, well, it was almost like my feet just took me through the door without my head really having to discuss it. You know, we should trust ourselves. Oops. That was loud. That was really fucking loud. I'm sure that's, if I'm listening back to this, that's going to be a, I kicked one of the stools. Thank goodness I'm wearing shoes. I wouldn't like to do something like that in socks. Okay. So I've arrived. I have arrived in the Connemara, the familiar sounds. And I think the only thing I'm going to do here is turn the heating on and make a cup of coffee. And I can do the credit card thingy. which says 293. Perfect. What a great weekend we had. We were up to 865 in 2 days. Let me switch on the coffee machine. So there's quite a few things to do here. I mean, I got a few things to wash up in the sink. Because Sunday, because Sunday was busy, there is lots of, all the tables have to be set. But I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna leave it for Tuesday. I'm gonna leave it for Tuesday. I'm going to throw out this magazine. Well, let me just leave it there, maybe. Again, see, there's an impulse to leave it there, so I'm following that. And at this point, I may close down this. It's been an hour and 18 minutes of talking. An hour and 18 minutes. How about that?